And on to the big story we're tracking here on Explosive Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, just 2 weeks ago we highlighted how schools nearly 100 in Jharkhand's Jamtara were closed on Fridays and not on Sundays as per the procedure. Now the rules were bent and weekly offs were changed because Muslims dominated the so-called religions and the region and compared to members of other communities there. But today we highlight how Jharkhand is not alone in this. The state-run schools in Bihar's Kishanganj are also observing weekly offs on Fridays and not on Sundays. The reason is that Muslim students have to observe Jummah. Now, Times Now has accessed the State Education Department circular admitting Friday offs in 37 schools across 5 districts of Bihar. The teachers and district officials say that though nothing is on paper, it's an unsaid rule being followed for a long time.
ये फ्राइडे यानी शुक्रवार को बंद रहता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो बच्चे हैं वो मुस्लिम कौम के ही, माइनॉरिटी कौम के ही 100%। तो पूर्व से ही शिक्षा समिति से ये मार्गदर्शन लिया गया है, तो बच्चे 100% होने के कारण ये शुक्रवार ही बंद रखा गया। शुक्रवार को छुट्टी तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, क्योंकि उस दिन नमाज उमाज पढ़ते हैं और नमाजी बच्चे और शिक्षक भी 99% सोचिए मुस्लिम कौम के ही है।
ये शुक्रवार बंदी विद्यालय हमारे यहाँ काफ़ी परंपरागत तरीके से चल रहे हैं, चूँकि ये बहुत लंबे समय से चल रहे हैं और किशनगंज कभी पूर्णिया जिला का अंग हुआ करता था, एक ही डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अधीन। तो पूर्णिया डीओ से संपर्क करने का प्रयास किया गया है कि उस लेवल पे यदि कोई पत्राचार हुआ हो या कोई निर्देश जारी हुआ हो तो फिर हम आपको आगे बताने की स्थिति में होंगे। अभी तक तो कोई जानकारी नहीं है मेरी।
छुट्टी इस स्कूल में जुमा के दिन है, जुमा के दिन।
मतलब पूरे बिहार में संडे को होता है छुट्टी और इसमें जुमा को क्या कारण है?
ये छुट्टी चूँकि मुस्लिम बहुल इलाका है और यहाँ 100% जो बच्चे हैं वो मुस्लिम हैं। ये पूर्व नियोजित छुट्टी है, पहले से ही होती आ रही है। हम लोग यही जान रहे हैं कि यहाँ फ्राइडे को ही छुट्टी है। बंद तो होना ही है एक दिन, चाहे वो संडे को हो चाहे फ्राइडे को। विभाग का आदेश होगा वो हम लोग के लिए मान होगा। अगर विभाग आदेश करेगा कि नहीं संडे को बंद करना है तो हम लोग संडे को बंद कर देंगे।
तो ये विभाग से कोई आदेश आप लोगों को नहीं आया है?
ऐसा हमको मुझे पता नहीं।
तो क्या शुभ नाम हुआ आपका?
मेरा नाम हो गया मोहम्मद वसीम।
क्या है आप?
हम यहाँ प्रभारी प्रधानाध्यापक।
What makes this all the more problematic is that the state education minister seems to be unaware of Jummah offs in his own state. Only when we highlighted the minister concerned said he has ordered an investigation and sought report from district officials.
किशनगंज में और कई जिलों से ये खबरें आ रही है कि कुछ उर्दू विद्यालय हैं जिनकी छुट्टियां फ्राइडे को होती हैं, संडे को नहीं हो रही है। किशनगंज डीएम ने ये बात खुद मानी है और उन्होंने कहा है कि जिला शिक्षा पदाधिकारी को शिक्षा विभाग से गाइडेंस लेने की सलाह दी है उनको। तो
ठीक है, तो आप ही बता रहे हैं कि कलेक्टर ने ये बात जिला शिक्षा पदाधिकारी को कहा है गाइडेंस लेने के लिए, तो वो पत्र आएगा, हम लोग जो उसमें नियमानुकूल होगा वो दिया जाएगा।
And why this gets all the more problematic is because such is the lust for vote bank that even the opposition, which opposes Nitish and his government tooth and nail on every issue, has taken a soft stand. Listen it.
तो ये परंपरा रही है कि रविवार को ही छुट्टी का दिन रहता है। अब जिन स्थानों पर छुट्टी शुक्रवार को की गई है वो प्रशासन किन कारणों से की है, ये पूरा मामला क्या है, इसकी जानकारी लेने के बाद ही विस्तृत रूप से कुछ इसकी जानकारी हम दे पाएंगे।
Let me go across to my colleague Aditya joining us with more details before we open this up with our guests this evening. Aditya, now this is very problematic on multiple levels. Very recently we broke down details of where this is being followed in Jharkhand. As many as 100 plus schools were giving off suddenly on Fridays and not on Sundays. Sundays were working, and the same pattern is being observed in Bihar as well. What's going on?
Well, exactly. As far as Bihar is concerned, of course, Kishanganj, we have unearthed the fact that as many as 37 schools observe week offs on Friday, but Kishanganj is not the only district in Bihar that has an issue like this. Interesting to note here is that if at all we happen to stumble across other districts also, there are similar schools that observe their week offs on Friday. Interesting to note here is that if the local population, after being informed that a particular school observes its week off on Friday, they are actually apprehensive of sending their own kids into that school, and they get their children admitted somewhere else. This creates another problem because you consider the fact that the parent is working somewhere, he'll be getting his week off on Sunday. And if at all the child concerned does not have a week off on Sunday and has a school on Sunday, so where is the time for the child to interact with his or her parents? Okay. So this is something very problematic.
Yes, because you know what it's leading to is a different rule for regions which are dominated by different communities, and that's a problem not just coming in from one state. Let me open this up to our guests joining us this evening. We have GM Shaheen, a JDU leader, with us. Also Syed Faisal Ali, senior leader of the RJD, is with us on this broadcast, and so is Abdul Basit, who's a political analyst. My first question is to you, Mr. Shaheen. Now, how is it, and I find it very surprising, how is it that the education minister was not aware that in as many as 37 schools, state-run schools across 5 districts, an off was being given on Friday and not on Sunday?
You are aware of that. One of the largest state in the country, and abhi dekhiye, if you had a holiday on Friday and not instead of Sunday, or usme Friday maybe because they had the Juma Namaz and the other schedules, and if the people of that particular area and the majority of the people are the Muslims, so what's wrong in it? Because हफ्ते में एक दिन छुट्टी देनी है और 2 दिन तो देनी नहीं है. Ultimately, same as your channel, as we heard that same thing is in the Jharkhand also. So it is not so much a big issue that कि बड़ा वो बवाल हुआ. It is not like that.
Is it not, sir? You know, if in regions, if in Hindu-dominant regions of Prayagraj and Kanpur, you know, we see schools being given an off, school children being given an off on Tuesday, will that be okay with you as well? Is that not a problem?
Yes, there is a law. It is a rule of law is in Bihar. It is not like that. So if we had some sort of a hurdles, or we feel that it is not good, it is the thing is that कि जुमा के दिन आपका नमाज या ऐसा न हो, संडे को ही रखा जाए, तो वो जो एक प्रॉपर डिपार्टमेंट है जो इसके ऊपर पूरा निगरानी करता है, तो दे विल इशू द ऑर्डर्स लाइक दैट. इतना बड़ा सवाल तो है नहीं, बड़ा इशू तो है नहीं इसमें जिसको एक
सर आज 37 स्कूल्स हैं, 5 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स की बात कर रहे हैं, कल 100 हो जाएंगे जैसे झारखंड में हुए थे, तो बड़ा इशू तो बन सकता है ना सर. आई वांट द आरजेडी रिएक्शन टू कम इन नाउ. मिस्टर फैजल अली, व्हाट वुड यू से? वुड यू अपोज दिस और वुड यू से इट्स ओके? होता है, छोटी मोटी बात है.
The story which you are running is bizarre and unbelievable. But the most sad part of the story is that the Minister of Education, Mr. Vijay Chaudhary, is completely clueless. The district magistrate of the town is completely clueless. From top to bottom, from district magistrate up to the education minister of Bihar, nobody has idea what happened, how it started, and who ordered it. As far as I know, there has been no order in this regard. No one has consented it, no one has ordered it. Then how it started? This speaks volume about the state of affairs in Bihar. This speaks a lot about the failure of the double-engine government in Bihar. As far as majority of public there or students there in Purnia, Kishanganj, Simanchal region is concerned, yes, I admit, they are predominantly Muslims.
Okay.
But
so if it is a Muslim-dominated pocket that we're talking about, then in your view, is it acceptable for this to be a norm?
No. What I'm saying that no switch over or nothing should have been done without any order. What has happened? As if there is a jungle raj. The people started switching over to Friday from Sunday.
Mr. Shaheen, it's a valid question. How is it that without the government's know-how, without the education department's order, you have as many as 37 schools changing the norm, giving offs on Fridays instead of Sundays?
मैडम, इनके टाइम पे तो स्कूल ही नहीं थे। जब इनका टाइम था उस राज्य में तो स्कूल थे ही नहीं। हम लोग स्कूल दे रहे हैं, एजुकेशन दे रहे हैं।
देखिए शाहीन साहब, इस पे आप बात कीजिए, इस पे आप बात नहीं कर पाइएगा। प्लीज कम टू द टॉपिक। मेरा इस पे एतराज नहीं है कि क्यों हुआ।
No, Mr. Shaheen, let's not digress. My simple question is, if you disagree or if there is no direct order that has been given by the State Department, how is it that this has happened without the know-how of the state government?
Exactly. This is my point. No one from the lower level, the block education officer, the district magistrate, the SDO, the district magistrate to chief minister, nobody knows. That is very sad. If the population is Muslim, if they wanted to switch over, they should have some order. My question, Shaheen Sahib, is only this, that it has to be done under government direction.
We agree. अभी मिनिस्टर साहब ने क्या बोला? We will check it out.
But Mr. Faisal Ali, are you accepting that the demography of a location cannot decide, whether a Friday will be an off or a Sunday will be an off?
Every order.
No, listen. Shaheen Sahib,
No, one second. Mr. Faisal Ali, that question was for you. Mr. Shaheen, hold on. Let him respond. Mr. Faisal Ali.
See, this is a bigger question because this is not the case of Kishanganj or Araria or Jokihat or Pothia alone. What has been observed that it happened in Jamtara in large number in Jharkhand. It also happened in Vaishali, and it has happened not only in Kishanganj, in many other districts of Bihar. So we cannot single out Kishanganj because this is Muslim-dominated area. My question is that if there is any such provision, I believe, being a law-abiding citizen, I believe that if it has been done under some mandate of the local norms. But if that has been done, it should have been done under any directives. That has not been obtained. No officer is taking any
responsibility. So you don't see this as a politics of appeasement?
No, it's you are taking it too far. You are taking it too far.
That's what I began with. My simple question to you was, will it not be problematic if in, let's say, a pocket of Prayagraj or Kanpur, certain schools decide to give an off on Tuesday instead of Sunday? Will that be okay as well? Will I be dragging it too far even then?
No, you cannot compare oranges and apple. What is happening in Kishanganj? Kishanganj is one of the most backward district of the country, not only Bihar. One of the most backward. If on this pretext that Friday is not off, if many students opt out of the education system, that will bring disaster. So to prevent that, if the government of the day has decided, then there should have been some order. What Mr. Shaheen should reply that who ordered it and why it was done without any order or without any instruction from the government.
You're dodging my question and you're pinning the blame on the other panelist, but it was a very straightforward question. Let me quickly come in with an input and then I'll come back to both of you. Kishanganj, which has over 67% of Muslims in the region, while Hindus constitute only 31% of the population. Now, the meek defense by the teachers, the state officials justifying Jummah offs, are forcing Hindus in the region to get their ward admitted in other schools. That's the fallout of what's happening on ground. Hindu groups say this practice needs to be stopped immediately. Let's quickly listen in.
ऐसा किया जाएगा तो हर धर्म के लोग अपने अपने दिवस पे छुट्टी मांगेंगे। कोई हनुमान चालीसा के नाम पे अगर मंगलवार को भी एक हिंदू धर्म मांग सकते हैं, ईसाई कह सकते हैं कि हमारे रविवार को हमें छुट्टी दी है चर्च जाने के लिए। तो वर्तमान परिस्थिति को देखते हुए इसे जल्द से जल्द जो है जिला पदाधिकारी को, शिक्षा विभाग को इस आदेश को रद्द करना चाहिए अगर ऐसा आदेश है। लेकिन जबकि कोई ऐसा आदेश, कागजी कोई आदेश का हम लोगों के पास सबूत नहीं है, तो जल्द से जल्द इसको रद्द करना चाहिए और इसको यहाँ इस क्षेत्र में बदलना जो कहीं ना कहीं मुस्लिम तुष्टिकरण किया जा रहा है।
So you heard a reaction there, and that's exactly what I was talking about, that this kind of a practice is going to have a certain set of consequences. Are we ready to face those consequences, Mr. Shaheen?
No, see, what I am saying that हम लोग ये मानते हैं इस चीज को कि if there must be a proper order from the government side first, और investigation is going on, अभी पता चल जाएगा ऑर्डर है पुराना कोई किया नहीं है, ऑर्डर टू से एनीथिंग too early is not good because अभी जल्दबाजी में कुछ भी कहना अच्छा नहीं है.
नहीं, ये खबर कुछ दिनों से बाहर आ रही है शाहीन साहब, तो थोड़ी क्लैरिटी दीजिए, क्योंकि क्या ये स्टेट रन स्कूल्स है कि ये सिर्फ उर्दू स्कूल्स है, कौन से संख्या में हम बात कर रहे हैं, ये थोड़ी क्लैरिटी दीजिए, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट एज इफ इट्स हैपेंड जस्ट लास्ट नाइट.
अर्ली कहना बहुत गलत होगा बिकॉज लेट द थिंग मस्ट बी वेरीफाइड फर्स्ट, और उसके बाद ही डिसाइड हो ये स्कूल स्टेट रन स्कूल है, उर्दू स्कूल है, कौन से वाले स्कूल है जो खाली फ्राइडे के दिन ही बंद रहते हैं, बाकी खुला रहते हैं. तो अर्ली कहना कुछ अच्छा भी नहीं रहेगा. इट विल बी टू अर्ली टू से एनीथिंग. So let's wait and watch and see what will be come out from where
the reports we've accessed, Mr. Shaheen, so far indicate that they're state-run schools, and the Bihar government still saying that an investigation is underway. They're trying to get to the bottom of this. It's quite strange to me to begin with. Now, Mr. Syed Faisal Ali, because you're not admitting to the fact that there is a problem with this very concept, I want to ask you, Sarkari niyam, Sarkari school, should that not be the norm? Sarkari school, but alag niyam for one community.
See, we agree.
See, you are putting my...
No, one second, Mr. Faisal Ali.
देखिए, मैं क्या बता रहा हूँ कि अभी वेरीफाई होनी चाहिए कि क्या मामला है. पहले के ऑर्डर है नहीं भी है ऑर्डर, अगर नहीं है ऑर्डर तो कैसे फ्राइडे के दिन छुट्टी होती है, तो से एनीथिंग अर्ली जो है वो ठीक नहीं रहेगा.
Let me respond, please.
Yes, go ahead.
See, there is no denying the fact that if it is happening, and it is happening, of course, it's not a good and healthy practice, because everyone should observe the single closure day, that is Sunday, which is followed all over the country. Okay. But my question is that we should not come to any conclusion on this instance, because there must be certain provision in the rule of the school running or something, then only it has happened. So let us let it be cleared by the government. If the government says that they ordered it, they have given this order, then only we will be in a position to respond further. But as of now, I can say that since this area is predominantly Muslim area and mostly Muslim teachers and Muslim students, perhaps that is why it has happened. But even then, you cannot justify it. I have no hesitation in saying that. But my only concern is that if we suddenly switch over to Sunday, then I fear, I think that many of the students will opt out of the school.
And we've seen that. You just heard a reaction that we're talking about a 60+% Muslim population versus a 30+% Hindu population. Now, Hindu families want to take their children out of some of these schools, given this particular development. Let me quickly bring in Mr. Abdul Basit. He's also with us.
Yep,
I'm afraid I've lost that line.
This should not happen. This should not happen. This should not happen. We cannot have a different rule for even 1% of the people. Law should be one and equal for everybody.
Okay. So you're agreeing to the fact that, all right, there should be uniformity, but then one needs to get to the bottom of this. How is it that the state government has no idea that this has happened, was my question.
Exactly.
But perhaps the state government needs more time.
Bizarre.
But as far as Syed Faisal Ali is concerned, Mr. Ali, I've still not heard from you. You've not taken a clear position on whether or not this practice should be allowed given the current situation across the country.
See, it was me who was speaking, by the way.
No, I'm talking.
Anyway,
yeah,
I very clearly have said that this should not happen.
Okay.
Even for 1% of the population, there should not be two norms, two law. Law should be followed by one and all, and it should be equal for one and all.
You've agreed to it.
Yes, I certainly agree. I certainly agree. But we must keep in mind the larger question, which is the educational backwardness of that area. We must address that question at the same time.
Okay, all right. I'll have to leave it at that with both of you, Mr. Shaheen and Faisal Ali. Thank you for sharing your respective perspectives. An important story and must be addressed at utmost urgency because, well, there is certainly a divide that is being created given the developments that we've picked up in certain pockets of Bihar as well, particularly in Kishanganj.